WROI Giant FM and streaming live on the First Federal Facebook page.
It is indeed Friday morning. It's 45 degrees, which is warmer than it has been the last few days, and it's time for the First Federal program. And Todd Van Sickle's in the studio joining us this morning. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, News. Thank you. Yes, oh, what a beautiful morning. If I could sing, I would maybe sing that song because it's going to be beautiful morning and beautiful day.
Yes, it is. I'm not going to try to sing it either. We'll leave that to the professionals.
But your word can make me sound better, right?
Yes. I can
Let's not
push
try
some
that.
buttons and make you sound different.
So it's going to be a beautiful fall weekend. I kind of looked up the definition of Indian summer, and I'm not sure we're there yet because you have to have an official frost. Even though it snowed earlier in the week, have we had the real frost, the killing frost? So let's just call it Indian summer this weekend.
Okay. I'm good with that. I didn't see the snow, so we're good.
Highs in the 70s, lows in the mid-50s. Great day, a weekend to maybe head out to an orchard.
Yes.
You been to the orchard yet?
I have not.
Okay. A lot of good orchards in the area. Dowd's, McClure's, Moore. Good weekend to go out to the orchard.
Yeah, if you haven't, go. Have fun.
Maybe find a pumpkin or two. The Optimist Club pumpkin patch is closed now, but congratulations to their success over the month. They had a bumper crop of pumpkins and gourds, and I worked out there several times, and a lot of traffic out there. And Optimist Club does lots of great things for our community, and that's their main fundraising today.
Yeah.
We have Jody Wynn running the camera today. Our special guest is Jenny Shaw, one of our First Federal family members, favorite of ours. About a year ago, we did the show with her. She has a special event coming up. We'll be talking to Jenny in a few minutes. Are you a Netflix follower, or do you use Netflix?
Yes.
They announced something this week, which I didn't really understand very well, but
Yeah.
here's their words. They're going to have plans to roll out monetized account sharing early next year.
Yeah.
So I read the article further, and it said they think they might have 100 million households that are streaming without paying. So I guess the idea is they're going to try to get everybody that's sharing an account, like with their mom or dad or neighbor, to make sure they get their fair share.
Yeah, it's I think I read something like $3 to $4 per shared account.
Okay.
But my concern becomes, well, what if you've got a vacation home and you log into your Netflix in your vacation home, but you're not logged in at home anymore? Is it gonna ding it and go, well, you're sharing it, we got to charge you for it, even though you've used it once in 6 months?
That's a great example, because we started to travel more, kind of COVID pandemic over a little bit, and a lot of places don't have TV anymore. They have the streaming TV. So if we sign on to our Netflix account to watch a movie as we rest that evening, how's that going to work? That's what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Probably costs us more money.
Yeah, I know. And it's going to be $3 to $4 every time you sign in somewhere different too. So it's not just another $3 to $4 every time for logging in somewhere else. It's every time. So
nobody has to answer this question that's here today, but is your account shared, or do you share with others?
I do not. Everybody's in my household.
I think I can't answer that very well. I'll take the Fifth Amendment with my kids, I think. But what's good about that is we share one with them, they share one with us, so it all works out in the end, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Trivia today is going to be about apples. It's National Apple Day.
Okay, I'll do my best.
Since we're encouraging you to go to an orchard, today's National Apple Day. What state produces the most apples? Michigan, Washington, New York, California.
Ooh. All right, I'll have to think on this one.
Big sports day today, and this weekend actually.
It is.
The football sectional playoffs start today. Caston's traveling to Seeger. Both teams with good records. Rochester's traveling to Seeger.
Yes.
I've already messed this up. You didn't correct me yet.
I'm not awake yet, so you're good.
And that game will be on WROI.
Yes, it will. Pre-game is 6:40. Randy will be leaving here in about an hour and a half to make sure he makes it on time.
Yeah, because it's like, I heard on the, coming in today, the interview with the coach, 2+ hours away.
Yeah.
It's always a nice bus ride.
Crazy.
Yeah. So Rochester versus Seeger, two really good teams. Rochester's ranked 10th, Seeger's historically a power in football. Got Tippecanoe Valley, 8-1 playing at Peru. Caston versus West Central, and Winnemac at Lafayette Central Catholic. That'll always be a tough game. That's a tough place to play.
Yes, it is.
So congratulations to the Rochester boys cross country team. They'll be in the semi-state tomorrow, and so will the Winnemac girls cross country. They're not running against each other. They're probably in their own divisions. But it'll be at New Prairie and New Carlisle. So good luck to all the runners out there. College football coming up again this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Purdue's at Wisconsin. Purdue's actually favored this time. They've lost 14 in a row or something like that to Wisconsin. But that's tomorrow at 3:30 on ESPN.
Okay.
And IU will be at Rutgers tomorrow. Two teams that are kind of about 500 each. Well, giving Rutgers credit, IU's 3 and 4. That's at noon on the Big Ten Network. Then Notre Dame plays UNLV with more than a 3-touchdown favorite.
Wow.
2:30 on Peacock, actually.
Okay.
Not on NBC, but on Peacock.
Yeah, they're pushing more and more games to these streaming services. And
Talking about streaming like Netflix, or they
Yeah.
might have to pay for games like that in the future.
Possible, yeah.
NFL this weekend. Colts are at the Titans on Sunday on CBS and on WROI, of course.
Yep.
So it's always a great time to listen. If you're out traveling about in a beautiful weekend, turn on WROI, and Giant FM and catch the Colts game. Thank you guys for doing that.
Oh, no problem, no problem. We enjoy doing it. We have some Colts fans that work for the company, so they enjoy being able to turn on and listen to it.
And I've listened to it when I've been out and about on weekends. MLB playoffs are going on. Congratulations to the Guardians. They really had a great year.
They did. We'll do better next year.
Got to the division championship.
Yep.
Took the Yankees to 5 games.
Yeah.
Pretty much maybe demoralized the Yankees because they're down 2-0 now. You spent their pitching staff, it seems like.
I'm okay with that.
Now, I was reading a little about this. Things are looking good for the Guardians, too. They're one of the youngest teams.
Yeah.
And bigger and better things to come, right?
Yeah, I mean, everybody will go, oh, it's a rebuilding year. Well, for our rebuilding year, we did pretty good, so you got something to worry about.
And after you rebuild like 14 years in a row, it's got to catch up, right?
Exactly.
Sorry about that, but you were in the playoffs. My team wasn't.
Yep, the Guardians have made it to the playoffs every year since they've been around.
That's true. That's very true. Put that in a T-shirt, you know.
Yeah.
Never failed to make the playoffs.
Yep, exactly.
Phillies and Padres are in the National League Championship Series. That's 1 game each. Then Yankees and Astros, and the Astros are up 2-0 on the Yankees. That good news, bad news? Do you hate the Yankees?
Yes.
Because they beat the Guardians?
No, I've never liked the Yankees.
Okay. Let's say, the Yankees are a love-hate kind of team.
Yeah, you either love them or you hate them, and I hate them.
So moving on today, it's the International Day of the Nacho. That's something good to celebrate, it seems like. National Apple Day. Count Your Buttons Day. That's interesting.
Yeah.
That's where you can find which buttons you have missing, then you try to go match them, and you never find a match.
Exactly, especially if you've got one of those jars, that are just full of all sorts of different buttons.
You have a jar full of buttons?
I do not, but I know some people do. Some people collect
Jenny,
buttons.
you have
a jar
full of buttons? It's hard for me to say.
I do.
But you probably sew, though, don't you, Jenny?
No.
Okay.
No.
I just like buttons.
Okay. So, we're collecting your buttons for Jenny. Add to her jar. Jody, do you collect buttons?
No.
Okay.
Ah.
Usually once I'm missing a button, that's missing a button forever because I don't take the time to find the button or
Yep.
sew it on.
If it's not attached to the shirt, it's the extra buttons to replace it, then I'm without it.
Also, National Reptile Awareness Day.
Okay.
And National Pumpkin Cheesecake Day.
Alright.
It is the season for pumpkin everything.
Yes, it is.
Even saw they had pumpkin Oreos. Kind of sound good.
Yeah, I can't get behind pumpkin Oreos.
Okay. Pumpkin Reese's Cups, is that a thing?
No.
Okay. Well, shaped like
Pumpkin shaped.
Pumpkin shaped, yeah.
Have some upcoming events coming. Next Friday, October 28th, the Downtown Partnership is hosting Boo Fest from 4:30 to 5:30 at Centennial Park or in front of the American Legion. Costume contest with prizes will be at 5:45. You can sign up beforehand at Smith Sawyer Smith, right next to Giant FM.
Yeah. Lots of fun stuff going to be going on next week.
Money news.
Yes.
BMW plans to invest $1.7 billion in the U.S. to produce electric vehicles and batteries. That seems to be the thing. You know, Chrysler has a big battery plant going into Kokomo, and GM has big battery plants coming up. I guess it's good for our economy, create jobs and
Yeah.
things like that. Since we're kind of honoring Apples today, I talked about Apple, the company. They announced this new lineup of iPads on Tuesday.
Yes, they did.
I didn't want to look too much what's new about them, but you know, is the iPad still a thing? I mean, is that with
Oh yeah.
bigger phones and
Yeah.
cheaper PCs and
I prefer to use my iPad for a lot of things over my phone.
okay, yeah, I do
Just
too.
because it still gives me a bigger screen.
You're watching TV in the evening, kind of catch up on news or stream something else, like the baseball game if your family doesn't want to watch the baseball game.
Yeah, it's a little harder to watch it, you know, because on your phone you're squinting to see what's going on, so at least
Yeah.
you don't have to strain your eyes.
And
as
that
hard on the
baseball's
iPad.
really small on the phone.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, it's very hard to follow it.
Also read the last couple of days that college enrollment has dropped for the third consecutive school year.
Wow.
After the start of the pandemic. Seems to be pandemic related. That's according to the National Student Clearinghouse. About 1.5 million fewer students are enrolled in college than before the pandemic.
That's crazy.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So moving on. First Federal Savings Bank. We're open today from 8:30 to 5, tomorrow from 8:30 to noon. You can always bank with us online or our mobile app, which is free to download. Our ATM's open 24/7 if you need some cash. Also, you can use our MoneyPass network to get cash surcharge free if you're traveling about this weekend enjoying the fall weather. We have a couple specials going on now. A 15-month CD special. As rates are starting to rise, we have a 1.76 APY certificate of deposit for 15 months. I brought our upcoming gift for you to see today.
Yeah,
Hold
doing
that up
better
for the
than
camera,
standard.
Yeah. This is a non-stick steel brownie pan that will be offered next week if you open a Simply Free checking account or Simply Free business checking account. Or if you refer somebody, you can also get a brownie pan too. Pretty neat. As we were talking about this before, Jody suggested maybe cornbread or some small cakes.
Yeah, there's a lot of things you could do with that.
My brownie bites are bigger than that, though. So, I mean, you cut a brownie, but this is limited, you know.
Yeah,
Probably a good thing.
you could do all sorts of fun little things in there, though.
We also have a fall mortgage special going on still. For purchase loans only, we'll give you a $900 discount off standard closing costs, and that ends at the end of this month. So just about 10 days left of that almost. So
Yeah.
take advantage of that. We also offer commercial lending for businesses. Contact Lindy Breeden for more information. And if you're interested in any financial services, we've got Mark Blubaugh and Brian Bell. Brian Bell's going to be a guest in a few weeks talking about Medicare insurance and supplemental insurance because now is the time to sign up for
Yes.
Medicare. So we're going to have Brian on in a couple of weeks. If you have any questions in the meantime, call Wendy Pfeiffer and she can get you connected to Mark and Brian and be happy to help you out.
All right.
You can like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. I looked at our YouTube channel last night because I was preparing for the show to talk to Jenny because she's been a previous guest. Got a history of all our shows there. A lot of our ads are on there. We have a lot of security tips right now because October is Cybersecurity Awareness Month. We're promoting cybersecurity awareness through our social media posts, so pay attention to those. Are little handy tips that can help protect you and your accounts and make sure that you don't have identity theft. So
Yeah.
we're working on that for everybody, trying to help everybody out. We're the only locally owned bank in Fulton County. We don't want to be the biggest bank, just the best. Borrowers must meet underwriting guidelines. We are FDIC insured and an equal housing lender. Our NMLS number is 399927.
And next is legal.
So I'll bring our guest on a little bit early today. Jenny Shaw, who is with us again. She's a longtime First Federal Savings Bank employee. worn lots of hats there. Welcome, Jenny.
Thank you. Thank you so much for letting me be on today. Thank you, WRI, for having me. Appreciate it very much.
Always.
Jenny's here to talk about hope for healthy,
Hope for hurting hearts.
Easy
Yes.
for me to say. I'll let you do that because you're the expert on this.
Got a lot of alliteration there. So, yes. Hope for hurting hearts.
Okay.
It is a one-day Christian grief retreat. This is our 4th annual one. And what it's about is, it came about after I lost my husband. There was just nothing locally that satisfied what I needed. I mean, I was doing counseling, I was definitely on some antidepressants, but I just needed something more. I needed to be with people who were going through loss and who knew what it was like to just be so lost and confused during their grief. And there was nothing. Even when I looked on the internet, I was willing to travel to go and find that. But I couldn't find anything that had the Christian aspect. I would find things that, healing crystals or hugger tree, but that's not what I wanted. I wanted something with the Christian aspect. And since there was nothing, I thought, well, I think I'm strong enough now that I can set this up. And so
Well, that's great you took the initiative. First, we're sorry for your loss.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mental health awareness and mental health, it's really important in these days because there's a lot of mental health issues that are going unchecked, and this is all about mental health.
It really is, and for so long, especially in America, mental health has such a stigma. But there's nothing wrong with it. It's the same as if you got treated. I had to recently just go to the doctor this week for bronchitis. It's the same as going for bronchitis or the same as going for cancer. You need treatment. And especially in our country, we don't do real well with grief. Other countries and cultures, they expect that person to take a year off, and
right.
People take care
kind of
of
built
it.
into their culture.
It is, and we don't do that here. And so this was just a way to bring people to come together. In the first retreat, one of the speakers said, "Welcome to the club you never wanted to join." And that's kind of how it is, because a lot of people in your situation, whether it be family, friends, coworkers, even other church members and stuff, they're like, "You should be over this by now." And that's just not the way grief works. You might be doing better, but then all of a sudden something sets you back, whether it be an anniversary or whether it be the holidays or whether it just be a sight or a smell that just all of a sudden overwhelms you. And you need somebody who's gone through that to help you through it because they understand what you're going through. Or someone who hasn't gone through it doesn't understand that as well. And that's what this one day brings. It's a bunch of people who've gone through that together. So one of the things we really focus on, and the one thing that people in my feedback, I always have a feedback at the end of the lesson to say what they want more. Everybody wants more talk time. They want to feel heard. They want to feel listened to. And that's the great thing. It doesn't matter how much you cry. It doesn't matter how much you want to rant and rave. We're there for each other. We're not going to criticize. We're not going to judge. Because we know at that moment, no matter who you've lost, whether it be a spouse, a child, a parent, a friend, an aunt or an uncle, everybody's relationships are different. And we're not going to judge that and say, well, your loss is not as important as my loss. Because everybody's loss that they're going through at that time is the greatest loss they're ever going to have at that moment.
So we're talking about Jenny Shaw, Hope for Hurting Hearts. You had a need, so you took the initiative to go out and kind of meet that need.
Yes.
And you're having a one-day session coming up.
It is. It's a one-day session. It's going to be on November 5th, which is in 2 Saturdays. And it's going to be held up in Argus at my church, at Parkside Community Church. Argus is a very small town, so it's 1 block south of the only stoplight on Old 31, which is
It's right on the
Michigan
road.
Street.
I've
It is.
driven by it many times.
It's right by the park that has the cannon.
Okay.
So registration starts at 8:30. We just ask you to sign in, and we have a few snacks. We definitely have coffee, some water, a few breakfast bars. We start at 9. We definitely open up with prayer and worship. This year, my brother is stepping up to the plate to lead worship. He's very good. I may brag on him a little bit.
No problem with that.
But my pastor usually does it, but unfortunately this year he will be out of state. I bring in a couple of great speakers. One of them is Todd Wilson. He is the local chaplain for our local hospice. So, if anybody deals with grief on a daily basis, it's definitely him. And then I bring in Wanda Carter. She is the pastor here at Hope Community Church that meets in the Lions Club. and she has lost 2 husbands and a daughter. So she is very aware of grief, and she'll bring you a good message. And then I do a couple of grief exercises that I have learned through counseling that will help you to be able to let go. And then we have allowed for a lot of talk time this year.
That's great.
So
It's a one-day session starting on November 5th.
yes,
Registration's at 8:30, starts at 9.
yes.
Is there a registration? You want people to pre-register?
I do want people to pre-register because it's a $25 cost, but that does include a very nice lunch from Harvest Moon. So I want to be able to make sure that I provide you lunch and we don't run short or anything. So I do ask that everybody try to register by next Saturday. And if you could, please pay before then so I can pay for the lunch. But and it also includes supplies. Because I want to provide you with journals. Actually, our code word, I have it on my wrist here today, is flourish. And so I try to provide you something that has that word on it for you to take home to remember that. Because after that day, we do want you to be able to go on with your life and flourish and be able to move forward. Not forget your loved one. Be able to have a life that does produce fruit and flourish and not just hold you in that deep grief that you're feeling right now.
Well, it's great you're doing this. We're talking to Jenny Shaw today about hope for hurting hearts. I'm having trouble saying that.
It's a lot of alliteration, it really is.
It's great that you're doing this. And this is Saturday, November 5th at Parkside Community Church.
Yes.
You have a Facebook page. People can find out a little bit
I
more
do
about
have a
that.
Facebook page, yes, so they can find out a little bit more information on that. Definitely my phone number is on there, so they can call me or text me, so that they want a little bit more information or want to hear about some of the topics we've done in the past or what we're doing this year, or if they just need to talk and text, But the one thing that I try to do, we try to cover several different topics in one day. Like I said, a lot of talk time, but I try to keep the cost down to only $25. In the fact that not everybody can afford to go to a counselor. Maybe they don't have insurance. Maybe their insurance doesn't cover counseling. Maybe, they're very busy and they just don't have time to make that kind of commitment. So at least they can do a one-day commitment to bring in, and the cost is low and they can come in and do that. And if you absolutely cannot afford it, we can offer a scholarship. I've had some people who have generously donated to be able to cover for somebody. And if you know somebody that you know needs to come and they just won't come, some people are very shy, some people are very stubborn, offer to come with them.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, bring that, you just know they're hurting so bad and they just don't want to come alone, offer to come with them. There's something that you will learn that day too, and that you'll be able to help your friend or your loved one to help them through this grief journey.
And grief is a very interesting mental health topic because you don't really want to try to prepare for it, but then once it happens, you're not really sure how you're going to react to it. And some people, everybody deals with it differently.
And
this is an avenue to try to help with.
Absolutely, and like you said, you don't know how you're going to deal with it. I honestly thought after 6 months I'd just bounce right back and be fine, and that's definitely not my experience at all. So you can prepare, you can be ready as much as you think you will, and it's going to knock you to your knees. And unfortunately, in life, this is something that everybody at some point is going to go through.
And that's when it happens, to a family member or a friend that they're going through some grief. I'm never quite sure what to say. And sometimes saying nothing's the best thing at all. Best thing to do, because you just need to be there to support them.
You do need to be there to support them. And I know people, they try to say something that is loving and supporting, and it comes off wrong, and it ends up hurting that person more. And even so, that's the same too. If you want to come just to kind of learn what they're going through, what somebody's going through, maybe you're a nurse, maybe you're a doctor, maybe you're in the clergy, and you want to learn a little bit more about grief because you just didn't get that kind of training. Definitely come and learn, because you could learn something that might help somebody that you're going through in a daily business, that you can learn how to help others that you want to help. So it's not just limited to those. It's focused on those who are grieving, but it can definitely help a multitude of people.
Talking about, what you say, I learned my lesson the hard way. A really good friend that passed away, talking to his wife, and she wasn't prepared to hear what I had to say, and she just wanted to grieve, and she wanted her husband there. And anything I say wasn't going to change that. And so,
exactly.
Then also, knowing how she kind of dealt with grief, and maybe another family member that lost her husband recently, it's a very tough thing to deal with.
It is a very tough thing to deal with.
Loss of a loved one.
And sometimes the best thing you can do is just sit there and hold their hand and just let them cry, let them talk. And that's why we're adding so much more talk time this year, because like I said, every X interview is more talk time. So we are pretty much dedicating the entire afternoon session to just being able to sit and talk.
And there's a lot of small groups that are done.
There is a lot of small groups. You know, like I said, in our morning we'll start with prayer and worship. We'll have a speaker. We'll take a break. We will do an exercise. We'll have another speaker. We are going to allow some talk time in the morning session. We will break for lunch. We'll do one small activity in the afternoon, and the rest of the afternoon is going to be open for the small group sessions to talk.
And this is open for anybody that wants to attend. Just
It
reach
is
out
open.
to.
It is open for anybody who wants to attend. Yes, I do ask that you be 18 so that you're legal. If someone who is younger that needs to come, I do ask that you come with an adult, please.
Okay. And then if we may know somebody that may be going through grief, how do we suggest they get involved with this, or maybe come find out more?
I would suggest that you go to that person and just say, I love you so very much and I see so much that you're hurting. Would you consider coming with me to this grief retreat? I think we both could learn a lot at this day, and it would help both of us to start to heal.
That's a great way to invite somebody. You be involved with them, and show that you're willing to share.
Yes,
and
be willing to
help
share.
somebody.
Don't just say, hey, look, you're really screwing up your life.
Saturday at 9 o'clock, you need to be.
Yeah,
there.
you need to be here. You know, offer to go with them. Go in with a matter of love, definitely.
That's November 5th.
November 5th at 8:30, and it ends at 3. Of course, if things are going past 3, you know, people are free to leave, but those of us who need to stay and keep talking, you know, we definitely can. And that's the nice thing, you know, with having Todd and Wanda, and even my brother Jimmy, who he is a pastor also, he is ordained. If during the talk time somebody gets really crying or something, you know, any one of us can step back and take them into a private room at the church and just talk with them. So, you know, they're not just sitting there crying and feeling embarrassed. You know, if they want that one-on-one, we definitely can offer that to them. That's why we try to have so many people involved to be able to offer that one-on-one session.
So this is your 4th year doing this.
This is our 4th year.
What have you
doing this.
learned from this?
Oh my, what have I learned? Well, I like they said, the first year I definitely learned, you know, welcome to the club you never wanted to join. And that speaker went also to say, you know, you've learned to speak a whole other language. And that is very true. As much as it was so very hard for me to lose my husband, and I do think it's my worst loss, and I don't think anybody could hurt as bad as I can, I've learned, you know, that's not true. And that's definitely going to be one of the things I'll be doing this year is grief quotes. And so that you learn, that is one of the quotes is, your loss is the biggest loss ever, because it is your loss right now. So to learn to never judge anybody else and what they're walking through, no matter if you think, well, their loss can't be as big as mine because it's only an aunt or an uncle or a friend. You don't know what their situation is.
So you walk in their shoes.
Exactly. Maybe they were raised by that aunt or uncle. You don't know that. So to definitely not judge somebody else's loss, because every loss is the greatest loss for that person right at this moment.
Well, it's great you're offering this because, you know, remembering our discussion from last year and looking at our video from WRI last year, you really couldn't find anything that met your need locally, and so you just developed it.
Yes.
And thank you for doing that.
Well, thank you. I am so thankful because I couldn't do this without the support of First Federal and WRI, all the local businesses who let me put up posters. I thank them. They're so willing to let me put those posters up, and I thank them so much. Definitely couldn't do it without Todd and Wanda and the support of my pastor, and this year the support of my brother. It's not just me, and I so thank all those who are willing to step up and volunteer and help me do this. So thank you so much for everybody who steps up and helps.
So we recommend and encourage, if you're going through grief or know somebody that's going through grief, maybe check out the Facebook page. If you have any questions, get in contact with you.
Absolutely.
You can do that through the Facebook page.
They can do that through the Facebook. And usually I always have an advertisement on the marquee, but of course that wasn't allowed, couldn't do this year with the refurbishing, which I'm very glad to see is going well. But yes, they definitely can give me a call. And First Federal has always been so very generous to let people even call me at work in case they cannot find me on Facebook or find my number. And when I would advertise on the marquee, they would never have enough of the sevens to put up. So First Federal is always very generous to let me put my work number directly on there. So if you forget everything else today, you can call me at First Federal.
And that's Jenny Shaw. Thank you, Jenny, for all you do at the bank, first of all.
Well, thank you.
All you do for our community, and trying to reach out and help with mental health in our area.
Thank you.
Job well done, and keep up the great work.
Well, thank you for having me. I greatly appreciate it.
Thank you. Again, that's November 5th. Registration 8:30. Session starts at 9 for a Christian grief retreat. Apples. Had a chance to think about the question?
Yeah. I was soaking in knowledge and thinking at the same time.
Today's National Apple Day. What state produces the most apples? Michigan, Washington, New York, or California?
I'm gonna go Washington.
Correct answer again.
Really?
Yes. Washington apples. That's usually.
See, I thought that was too obvious.
Okay.
I-
Jody knew right away, it seems like.
Well, that's what I wanted to say, but it seemed too obvious.
Yeah, that was my thought. Is I've heard Washington apples,
Right.
but that cannot be the answer. Okay. Tanner will have to try harder.
So, in the spirit of apples, are quotes from Johnny Appleseed today,
Hey, there we go.
which turns out is a real person. Actually.
Yes.
Yes. Do not worry at being worried, but accept worry peacefully. Difficult, but not impossible.
I like those words of wisdom.
Thank you, Liz.
We'll see you guys again next week.
Thank you, Janie Shaw.